Alright, what's going on today, guys? Today, if you've been following my advice and you watched my video on the first 10 tools you should buy, this is the next 5 tools you should get in order just to keep going in the automotive career. Like I said, you can buy all sorts of different tools. These are just the 5 I'm recommending, and they're kind of a vague recommendation to an extent. I'll explain more into detail when we get going, but these are the 5 tools I recommend you buy next. So I'll get in here and show you each of the tools and we'll go from there. Okay, so if you follow my advice, the first thing I'm going to tell you to get is a 1/4 inch set, is to step up and buy a 1/4 inch socket set. 1/4 inch refers to the size of the head on the ratchet and the hole in the socket. But a nice 1/4 inch set of deeps and shallows. Now my little holder right here also has 12 points on here. Don't recommend that you get 12 points necessarily. You only use 12 points if you're in a specific situation or getting into those real little spots and stuff like that. I don't believe you'll have an issue with that, but you do want some nice 6-point deeps and shallows, a nice ratchet to go along with it, and that right there will do interior work and under the hood and lights and all that stuff like that. I recommend that you get a 1/4 inch set of sockets, ratchets, extensions, the whole 9 yards. A lot of manufacturers sell them in kits for just 1/4 inch. So if you bought a kit of 3/8, you can just buy a kit of 1/4 inch and just add it on and it'll be fine. So that's what I recommend there. So let's move on to the next item. Okay guys, so I'd recommend, if you bought everything I told you previously, also to get a little electric gun. Snap-on sell, every manufacturer sells these anymore. Even Harbor Freight has a set of them. I wouldn't go as far as to getting a whole nother impact kind of thing, even though this is an impact, but this is a small impact. This is their 14.4 batteries. So this is their small one. It puts out very little torque, but it does help when you're doing interior work and tail lights and like taking off air cleaner boxes and doing stuff like that. These right here are just great. I do like the snap-on design to where you pull the trigger up, it turns one way, you pull the trigger down, it goes another way. It rocks right in the center there. It's got a little light on there when you pull the trigger. This is great, but when you do get these, you do have to learn finger control, especially on any electric gun, because it's just like a drill. The less you push it, the slower it spins. The more you push it, the harder it spins and the more force it can emit. So if you're in a delicate situation and you don't have the finger control, you might want to use hand tools. But I always recommend that a little gun like this is great, and get it in the size that you use all the time. So if you're using 3/8 all the time, get a 3/8 gun. If you're using 1/4 all the time, get a 1/4 gun. I have yet to see a 1/2 inch gun that's meant for little stuff like this, but I'm sure someone makes it. So if you really use 1/2 inch all the time, that might be an option. But a little zip gun, it'll save you so much time and effort. I can't recommend it enough. That's that. All right, I'm gonna move on to the next tool. I recommend this set of wobble sockets that turn in all sorts of different directions. They make them in 2 different variants. This is the standard old like universal joint, and then they make the round ball ones. And of course, chrome represents non-impact, so this is meant to be used with hand tools, and the black represents for impact, and that's meant to be used with power tools. But anyway, these right here, they do have the problem that if you go too far, They bind up, and then they will shoot across the shop and go everywhere. The ball ones will not do that. That's why they're recommended for impact. But like that, just a nice set of universal sockets. And the size that you use, so if you're using 3/8 all the time, get 3/8, half inch, get half inch. Do that. Lots of manufacturers make them. Harbor Freight sells them. You can get them anywhere. They will make your life so much easier. I recommend those all the time. But a nice set of universal sockets, and you will be happier. All right, let's move on to the next tool. And these right here are pry tools. They are for taking the little plastic, little push pins out and stuff like that. As you can see here, I also got a longer one. This is great for getting in behind door panels and stuff like that. So a lot of manufacturers make these. These are great. These are going to help you out so much, because a little screwdriver, yeah, you can get them out, but it's not great. These right here, you just go up underneath it. They got the leverage built right into them. You just push and they come up. Done. Couldn't be more simple. Harbor Freight actually sells a really nice set of these for a good price. And you get, I believe you get 3 of them in there, and they're all varying sizes. So keep that in mind. This set right here I had is from Snap-on, and it actually had another one with it. It disappeared. So if you see it, I'd like to find it. It's got my initials on it. They'll be right there. So if you ever come across one that's got my initials on it, just hit me up. But anyway, these things are great. Because by the point that you have everything I told you in the first video, they're going to have you doing other things, getting in the door panels, pulling off lights, stuff like that. And then there's going to be little tabs and stuff like that, and push pins that you have to take out. And these right here are going to save you so much time and effort, because these right here allow you to remove those push tabs without damaging them, and you don't have to keep going in there and say, hey, I need new push tabs every time. Your boss is going to be happier. Everyone's going to be happier. You're going to be happier. This is the way to go. Get you a set of these, and you'll love every second of it. All right, next tool. And last on my list today is a multimeter. Now, when it comes to multimeter, I recommend you buy a quality meter. This right here is a Fluke meter. Fluke makes some of the best meters on the market, but I recommend them 100%. Snap-on makes an okay meter. They actually just came out with a new meter that I'd like to play with, but every manufacturer, Mac, Maco, Harbor Freight sells meters, but don't go to Harbor Freight and get that little free meter that they give you in the coupon things. Yes, those work, but they are really, really vague, and they don't always have the right reading, and they're broke within 3 days, it seems like, with my experience. But a nice meter. I've had this for 4 years with it, and the only thing I've done to it is put fuses in it and batteries. And there is a fuse in these for when you're checking amperage. So if you check amperage and it's over a certain amount, it will pop the fuse. If you have your leads in the amp slot and go to check voltage, it'll pop your fuse. Just keep that in mind. Learn how to use your meter. Learn how to use your meter. This is a tool that will serve you well for years to come. Like I said, shell out some money for a meter. You will be happy with it. This one right here has got a nice auto range. You just go through and select what range you want. It auto sets to the range you need to be in. I like that in a meter. You can get the more fancier meters that you can set the range in. You can set the range in this one right here by using that button right there. But for quick checks, this is fine. Ford I know in their book they recommend a Fluke 77. That's what they want you to do all your testing with. So just keep that in mind. Different manufacturers will have different standards for what you're doing. What's nice about this is it also has the nice little kickstand on it, so you can put it out there. I've seen them with hanging handles and stuff like that. Fluke makes a new meter now. It's not so new anymore, but you can detach the screen from it, so you can set this up out back. So like if you're testing brake lights to see why they ain't working, you can set your meter up, pull your screen off, go inside the car, push the brake pedal and watch the screen, read what it's getting, because you can't be in two places at once, but this allows you to be, which makes it really nice and stuff like that. But like I said, with a meter, buy a quality meter and you'll be happy with it. And this right here will lead you all the way through from small voltage checks to great big old ohming things out, testing wires and circuits and doing things like that. This will serve you well for years, especially if you spend the money on it. So I can't recommend it enough. But anyway, that's my last item of the day. So I'm going to do the outro and we'll go from there. Okay guys, that's the 5 tools I recommend next. Like I said, if you followed my advice and you bought the first set of tools I told you to buy for when you're getting started, this is what I recommend you buy next. This will keep you going for a long time. You know, if you feel there should be something else, let me know down in the comments below. If you guys like this series of videos, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe. I appreciate everyone who's been watching and liking and subscribing. I love you guys to death, and I'll catch you next time.